Hey, Dan Cucimilla here for NorCal Sports Network with some new news today. The San Francisco Giants have promoted their young phenom, Bryce Eldridge, from Richmond, the AA level, up to Sacramento to AAA. So he's just one step away from being a major leaguer. We're going to get into that. We'll talk about what this means for the ball club and Bryce Eldridge going forward. But first, let us thank our sponsor of this video, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. They specialize in personal injury. Make sure you give Chapman Law Group a call. Do not settle with an insurance company before talking with Chapman Law Group. Give them a call at 415-613-9483. Make sure you let them know NorCal Sports Network sent you. All right, thanks for that. And as always, give this video a like and subscribe, as it really does help out the show and the algorithms. All right, Bryce Eldridge being called up today to Sacramento as expected. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. I predicted this in the spring training. I said I think that Bryce Eldridge would start in AA. A lot of people had him pegged to AAA. I thought the best approach the Giants should take, since he got pushed last year, he had very little at bats in AA and had a few at AAA last year. Thought the best approach was get him at AA, let him master that, let him rip down there, and then move him up to AAA. And I said that I thought he would be in June coming up, and right on target. Here we are, June 3rd. And I think the next target is ideally if the Giants can get Eldridge to all of June, all of July, half of August in Sacramento. And that's going to depend on how the Giants do at the big league club. Are they getting any production out of first base? This could expedite Bryce Eldridge's promotion to the big leagues if he does well in AAA. Ideally, I would love to see Bryce stay there until mid-August, and so that he could come up and keep his rookie status for the 26th season and still be eligible for the playoffs if the Giants were able to make the playoffs somehow. Look, the Giants have the makings of a playoff team with their pitching and defense, but their offense is horrible. It's putrid. It's pathetic. What other adjective can I throw out there? The Giants simply are just anemic when it comes to the offensive side of baseball. They need to go out and make some trades that get them the big bat. Now, Jarren Duran is available, I believe, at the Red Sox because Roman Anthony, the top prospect in all of baseball, is waiting, is ready, and plays a corner outfield spot. The Red Sox want to bring up Anthony. They can move Duran for top line pitching. The Giants have pitching. What will it take to get a Duran? I don't know, but there's opportunities there. I think Duran would fit perfect at Oracle Park. He's got speed. He's not a big home run hitter, but he can, gap to gap, and he will hit the occasional long ball. He steals bases. He's aggressive. He's a really good ball player. But neither here nor there. Let's continue to talk about Bryce Eldridge and what this means. I think, clearly the Giants are looking to see if he's ready. And if they can't find any bats to take over at first base, they are looking to really possibly move Eldridge up sooner than later. I mean, they're probably willing to sacrifice some defense for his bat. Now, what is the bat going to do? We'll see. This is ultimately, let me just put out a little a tweet here that was put out earlier in the afternoon today. Alex Pavlovic, NBC Sports Bay Area, and Giants Insider said Buster Posey said it was time for Bryce Eldridge to get a new challenge. Asked about the rest of the year, he said focus is on getting him reps and improving defensively. but added it's fluid, and ultimately the goal is to win at the big league level. There you go. So they want his bat in the lineup. That's basically what they're saying. They're saying we're going to try and figure a way to get his bat in the lineup. So the Giants have to figure a way to tread water and hold, guys need to start producing over the next couple of months at first base, DH, all over. I mean, the Giants have holes, not just at first base in their batting order. I mean, you look all around the diamond, there's really only a couple of productive hitters in the lineup, 2 or 3, and that's the most. I mean, maybe 4. You can go Ramos is obviously their most productive hitter, and then you could look at Jung-Hoo Lee, who's hitting decently for average, and then you have Wilmer Flores, who's been driving in runs, and Tyler Fitzgerald's been pretty much hitting the ball pretty well and making some loud contact, and he's a threat when he's on the bases. So those are your 4 guys. I mean, Bailey's been a disaster. First base with Wade has been a disaster. The left side of the infield, Chapman and Adames have not performed to even what I would consider, their career numbers, which are, they've had some good numbers in their careers, but nothing. They don't hit well for average, and they strike out a lot. Okay, you can live with that if you're driving in runs and making, good contact and hitting in situations. This has been a problem this year for both Chapman and Adames. They're coming up with runners in scoring position and not driving in runs. Matt Chapman's only had over 78 RBIs one time in his career. That was 91 RBIs in the 2019 season, which a lot of people refer to as the juice ball season. So, Chapman hit 36 homers, drove in 91 runs that year, still never reached 100, and only 78 is his other high water mark after that 91. So the Giants have some issues, and they've got to find some bats that play. Look, I don't think this is a playoff team, but you know what? If you get a bat or two and you get into the playoffs, this pitching staff can do damage. It's a very, very top, maybe one of the best 2 or 3 overall staffs in entire Major League Baseball. It's a very good starting staff and a lights out bullpen. Defensively, the Giants play well. They just can't hit. They can't score. I mean, it's been 15 games, right? They haven't scored more than 4 runs in 15 straight games. And I think only 2 or 3 of those they've scored 4. The rest have been 3 or less. And there's a couple of zeros in there and a lot of 1s and 2s. So the Giants need to start hitting. And, it's not just a question of, is this a slump? Is this who they are? That's the question you have to ask. Are the Giants in a slump, or is this who these guys are as everyday hitters? You have to really ask yourself that. Eldridge comes up. He might be, he would probably be the biggest threat in the lineup. I want to show you a couple things about Bryce Eldridge, and I want to compare him to somebody. Let's see how Jack Caglione does with the Kansas City Royals. He was a phenom, played at Florida for 3 years, okay? So Caglione's got college experience, not only college experience in the tough SEC, where Bryce is coming out of high school. Okay, so Caglione hit in 24, in 248 bats, he hit 419 at Florida with 35 home runs. The year before, he hit 323 with 33 homers. But let's take a look at his minor leagues. Okay, he spent this year he went to the Arizona Fall League, didn't hit great, only hit 236, but he did hit 5 home runs in 89 at bats, 21 RBIs. Now, this year, he split time, and he's just been called up a day or two ago by Kansas City. AA and AAA, Jack Caglione hit 322, 15 homers, 56 RBIs. Okay. And he just trying to find his strikeout rate on here. Okay, he struck out 46 times in 229 plate appearances, which is 20%. Pretty good. This guy's a hitter. Okay, so let's see how Caglione does at the big league level. Does he continue to rip and tear it up? He had a 982 OPS at combined this year. And in AAA, though, he was really tearing it up. He had a 1,094 OPS in 54 plate appearances of 47 at bats. So most of his at bats came at AA. I think the Giants might be following the similar plan that Bryce got most of his at bats at AA. Let's see what he does at AAA. All right. So as we looked at Caglione, I thought I had those stats up there for Caglione, and I was just reading them off. They weren't even up there. So let me show you those. There they are. Okay, there's his stats highlighted right here in yellow with the two teams. Again, 322, 15 homers, a 982 OPS in AA and AAA combined with almost 200 at bats, 229 plate appearances, 199 at bats. That's Jack Caglione. I want to see how he does in the big leagues, because if he struggles in the big leagues, not saying that guarantees that Bryce struggles, but this guy's a more polished hitter than Bryce, and he's got 3 more years of college that Bryce never got. So this guy's a few years older, and similar frame. Caglione's 6'5", and Bryce is 6'7". But let's take a look at some of Bryce's stats in his brief career in the minor leagues. Bryce spent 24 between AA. Well, he went from A to A plus to high A, AA, AAA. So he spent 4 teams. But let's just take a look at his Richmond numbers. He hit 270, which is pretty good. He only had 37 at bats. He only had 1 home run. And then he got called up for 31 at bats in Sacramento, hit 258. Respectable, but his strikeouts were pretty high, about a third. He struck out 11 times in 35 plate appearances. So we'll see how he did. But let's take a look at Bryce's numbers this year in Richmond. That gives us a little bit more. Remember, Bryce had a little bit of a late start because he had a wrist injury. So he bounced back pretty good from that. But if you look here at his numbers in Richmond, 140 plate appearances. Okay, 140 plate appearances. And he struck out 39 times. So that's 27, almost 28% of the time. That's not horrible for a power hitter, okay? We'll see how he does in Sacramento in the pitching. See a little bit more tougher pitching, although AA's got some really good pitching as well. But Bryce hit 280. He wasn't hitting like Caglione, hitting 322 or even 350 or whatever Caglione was hitting at the AAA level, but his on-base percentage, 350. He had 7 home runs, okay, and an 862 OPS. So he doesn't have the same, crazy numbers that Caglione was putting up. And again, he's 2-3 years younger than Caglione. I think he's 3 years younger. Bryce is 20 years old right now, and Caglione is 22. So you're looking at just what Bryce is. Yeah, they're about 2 years apart, just under 2 years. So this is a big giant move for, no pun intended, for the Giants. But I got to believe that Bryce is going to make an appearance this year. If the Giants really, really need him, it looks like it could be earlier than August. I'm thinking the best approach would be let Bryce rip and really get adjusted to AAA pitching, spend 2.5 months there, and then the Giants have a 4-game series beginning August 18th in San Diego. That's where I'm targeting Bryce Eldridge to make his major league debut for the Giants. I think 2.5 months in AAA. You bring him up around the 18th of August. They can manage his at-bats. It keeps him under the number of days on the roster, which I believe you have up to 45 or either 50 days or 45 days to be on the roster and not lose your rookie status. If you're under that, and then you have so many at-bats that if you go over, you lose your rookie status. They can manage that. So we'll see how this goes. But Bryce Eldridge is now a Sacramento River Cat, and he's one step away from the big leagues in San Francisco. So tell us what you think on this video. Do you like the idea of Bryce Eldridge coming up this year for the Giants? I wouldn't rush him just to rush him. I want to see him get his development in and not be rushed to the big leagues. The Giants have made that mistake in the past with a couple of players, guys like Joey Bart. I remember Matt Williams back in the late 80s coming up, could not hit to save his life, got sent down, took 3 struggling years and about 600 at-bats before Matt Williams in year 4 broke out. So we'll see how this goes. Let us know in the comments below. We will read those and respond to some of those, many of those as possible. We'll be back here tonight with the post-game show after the Giants face off against the San Diego Padres. Landon Roop takes the hill for the Giants, and we'll be here right after the final pitch. So tune in for NorCal Sports Network. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video or subscribe to the channel. And again, we'll look forward to seeing you tonight. Hopefully the Giants can get some runs and start turning things around. All right, everybody, take care. Go Giants.